Harrison.
Yes, Dr. Brooks, what's up?
It's nice to see you. Thanks for being willing to come and share your story.
Yes, of course. No problem at all.
So,
I'm looking forward to it.
this little podcast is to give anybody out there hope that's struggling, like I certainly have. I've been in the dark and in trouble, and I'll let you kind of tell your own story. But what I really wanted when I was in trouble was to know that real humans had gotten better, not statistics or some funky self-help book or some YouTube video. Like I wanted a human, like a real person that was imperfect in their recovery and all of that. Like I just wanted to know
Yeah,
that there's hope for me from somebody else that was very, just a regular old person. So um
right.
that's the purpose of this. It's to give people that are struggling hope that they really can get better and really can recover. So I'm so appreciative of
Yeah,
you being willing.
of course, of course.
So maybe just you don't have to share anything you don't want to, but maybe talk about how you went from the healthy, like doing well, person to that slip and slide that got you in the dark, and then what the dark felt like and why that started to make you nervous. And then what
Yeah,
bounced off the bottom and got better. I mean, just briefly, I haven't really told my whole story, but just briefly, and you know my story, Harrison.
yeah,
Um, After a tricky childhood and some lack of development intimately, I really struggled with relationships, and they were a huge source of pain and conflict and all kinds of things. So unfortunately, I had to get schooled by the school of hard knocks and failures and all of that. But I'll let you kind of talk about how you slipped and slid and when you reached out for help, and then how or the things you attribute it to you getting well. And because this is a miracle healings podcast, and I certainly consider you one of those guys, I'll just kind of listen. We'll just chat as we go. Is that okay?
yeah, totally fine. Yeah, I'll go ahead and kind of get into it. So was always been healthy, mentally healthy, I thought of up until through college. And then COVID hit, and I just kind of like maybe it was some of the isolation. Maybe it was just I don't know, not being in a groove, a consistent groove. Everyone was at home working from home. I was applying for jobs because I just graduated, but kind of just fell into this like cycle of anxiety. And I have always been anxious, I think my whole life, but not to where it like affected day-to-day tasks, if that makes sense. So it was manageable for, I mean, this has been going on for about 4 years, up until I think 2.5 years ago, I just started getting some chronic pain, like chronic stomach pain, and that was kind of debilitating and just kind of prevented me from like the doubts of the pain would kind of prevent me from doing things that I wanted and um just was always in my head about like, oh, is my stomach gonna hurt if I go here? Is blah 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 this? Is am I gonna I mean it started getting to the point where it's like, um, gosh, like if I go if I apply for this job, am I gonna like with the anxiety, depression, if I apply for this job, am I gonna be, sitting in front of everyone crying? Like what are people gonna think of me? Just super anxiety ridden. And gosh, I had just by diagnosis like OCD, and depression. And it was about, I think last summer, I found the bridge online. I was working a job at the time that I didn't have any time off. Like there was no paid time off. It was a contract position at Delta Airlines. And I reached out to Christine at the bridge and I just, you know, messaged her like, hey, like, I don't know how, I can't remember how I found it, but I was like, yeah, like this looks something like I could be useful for me. And I kind of like got back into a groove of working and just kind of was wasn't from like last summer until like the time I went to the bridge, I was just kind of never really there. And like I would get these intrusive thoughts that like I'd literally be like laying in, like I'd wake up in the morning and they'd start, and like I would literally be like, if I engage with them, I'd literally be like in my bed, like in the fetal position, like couldn't even, like they were just so loud, and like I couldn't. It was hard. It was almost like debilitating. Um, and it was hard for me to separate from them. I tried like traditional therapy, just which is helpful. But gosh, all this was within the last year, and like it was hard to like they were just so loud, and like it was hard to like focus, and just felt depressed and felt like I was broken and felt like I was just not whole, and it was just like I kept thinking there was something wrong with me.
So
And
so just because a lot of people may not know, just kind of explain what
yeah,
intrusive thoughts were to you. Like you're
okay.
motoring around, minding your own business, trying to get things done.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
wasn't really wasn't really minding your own business. It was just like from the time I woke up to the time I went to, just like stuff that's, I guess they call it like egotistical or something, like something it doesn't really match who you think you are. It'd be like stuff like you're gonna kill yourself. You've always wanted to kill yourself. There's something wrong with you. You have to fix yourself. You have to fix yourself. There's something wrong. Like just over and over and over. You're gonna kill yourself. You want to break up with your girlfriend. Just stuff that I didn't think I believed, and I had just gotten so caught up in them that it was just hard to like live life. And anyways, I had, and it just made me feel so just broken and depressed, like so depressed. And I thought there was something wrong with me. And so gosh, it was like probably about a month leading up to the bridge. I was literally like, not like actively suicidal, but laying in bed. If someone came in and shot me, like it'd be cool, like or be fine with it. If
You're
driving
like
around,
I don't think I,
yeah,
but if it happened, it wouldn't like
yeah,
it's
like take me, yeah. Or if I'm in pain, stomach pain, which I still have. I've just kind of learned to distance myself from it a little bit more. Um, but just this is so annoying. Like how am I gonna live life like this? Like blah, blah. And then I remember I was driving like to go see a friend, and I literally had to like turn. I was like looking around at like skyscraper, and I was like, yeah, I could just climb up that and jump off that, right? I mean, I wasn't gonna do it, but they were just there, and I was like, okay. I turned around, went home. I was just so exhausted, and I was so exhausted, like from all this. um, so yeah, I was like, I need freaking help. So I called the bridge the Monday of the check-in time, or check-in date, which was like 6/11, I think. And it was like, hey, like, do you have anything available? And then I was like, they're like, yes. Or like, yes. And then I was like, am I just like engaging with my thoughts by going here? Like, this is just me engaging with my obsessive negative thinking. And then I was like, I'm not gonna go. And then you called me and you're like, hey man, like come down here. I was like, okay, sweet. I kind of was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. And yeah, I think I got there at like 1 a.m. or something when I arrived.
yeah. I'd have to
And
ask
I
Donna.
mean, you can interrupt me here. That's just the background of the anxiety
Yeah,
I've been dealing with.
I think it's extremely tricky for
Yeah,
all of us when you start a pattern that doesn't really feel, I mean, you know it's you because there's nobody else besides you, but to me, like it in my particular case, it felt like I was fighting multiple voices and multiple other people. Like there were other people, not that I was schizophrenic or DID or any of that, just like I had a noisy voice in my head. And it was hard to figure
yeah,
out like what was me and what wasn't, and what I should really worry
yeah,
about and what was just BS.
yeah,
That's hard. And I
yeah,
remember talking to you on the phone, and it seemed like that you were trapped like in your mind for sure, but you were also super hopeful. So you could see it, like you could see the entrapment,
yeah,
which is pretty cool. Some people can't. Some people they believe that the trap is reality.
yeah,
You didn't like the trap. You could tell it wasn't you. It
yeah,
wasn't what you wanted. Is that
yeah.
accurate?
Yeah, no, that's definitely accurate. That's definitely accurate. And I'll go into the, I guess, mindset shift I had at the bridge. I mean, just when, I mean, I kind of want to, we could switch topics for now or whatever. Like, um, if that's cool, like just from the kind of perspective shift I had, if that makes
Totally,
sense.
totally up to you. Yeah. So
Okay.
you are, the intrusive thoughts are becoming dominant. Like you're starting to
Yeah.
have some suicidal ideation. You're starting to fantasize a bit. You don't have a plan, but you're fantasizing about ending it.
Yeah. I mean, I was,
Yeah. Or if it
in the
becomes,
back, okay, in the very back of my mind, I'm like, I'm never like, I wouldn't, but like, it was just so like, I was like exhausted, overwhelmed. I was just in a bad place, I guess. So yeah, pretty much. Um, but yeah, so then got to the bridge. Um, I remember it's just crazy because I mean, I remember I walked down. I spent the night I think in the provider house the first night or something. Yeah, and I walked downstairs and everyone just looked so depressed. I'm like, what? What is this place? It's pretty funny. But obviously that changed at the end of the 3 weeks, which is so
that
cool.
orientation meeting, man, that's some dark business because everybody's bringing their stuff, and yeah, you
Yeah,
can tell that. Oh no, we've got this huge group of people that are all very, very complex and very, very
yeah,
deep and tricky. Like, what in the world? Like, how are we going to fix this? Right?
yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, I mean, I had no idea what to expect. Um, it was like, I mean, the experience obviously is awesome. If whoever listens to this podcast, if you're struggling at all, it's just the most like eye-opening, um, such a different approach than traditional therapy, which is like so, and obviously like one of the main things I got out of it was hearing the providers, you and the providers' stories, but just being with people that are also in a crappy place. I felt so connected. I'm all over the place right now, but anyways, um, so yeah, it's just uh, when I was there, what kind of turned things around for me was like I met with these providers, Cami and Shelby, and just talking about how I like internally had these like extremely high expectations of myself and like like kind of being almost a perfectionist in a way. And I had this like idea that like every single day I needed to be like because I would classify myself as a positive person. But I had this idea that every single day I had to be like happy and I had to be positive and I had to be okay. And like they were like and one of the things I value most about myself or I have throughout my life is that I think I'm authentic. And they're just like, you're not being authentic at all by not embracing every single part of you, like all of it. Every like the dark part, the stomach pain, everything. Like um the suicidal ideation, all of it. And it was like I like hid that like from everyone. And not that I'm gonna go around and be like, oh, I'm like feeling this today. Like, but it's like I hid that from myself, really. I didn't want that part of me at all. Like I hated that part of me. And it's like now I feel like like as authentic as I can be by just like allowing myself to be as I am like for the day, like not trying to change anything about myself, not trying to fix anything about myself, which was kind of part of the OCD. I was like I kept trying to like fix my person, like try to I had this like I said, like maybe like high school me or something, like a positive, easygoing guy, like I had this ideal like state of being and like now it's like I've taken all that pressure off of myself and I can just be however I am for the day and like it's a learning process for sure but like just be okay with it and like that has made me it's just like such like a liberating feeling just it's okay to like I know people are like it's okay to not be okay but it's like yeah it actually is okay to not be okay like you need to love yourself that's another thing was at the bridge, learning about self-love and just like loving the shit out of yourself. Sorry, I don't know if I'm supposed to cuss or not, but um, yeah, loving yourself through and like whatever you're going through for the day, just love yourself, and it's
Yeah,
gonna start
I think,
clicking.
I mean, I wouldn't normally say that those words were perfect, but they're kind of perfect because you really can
Yeah,
love yourself to the point where you get all the crap out of there, right? And so
yeah,
I think that I think that's well said. I think to just I mean, getting to know you both a little bit before and then during the program. Um, I think a lot of us suffer from what you went through, and that is that we think authentic means that we're in control and positive. It doesn't. Authentic means that we're authentic, even with our shadow selves and the dark selves
yeah,
and past and the distant and the difficult and the deviant, right? Like you have to, if you don't understand that you have that side of you, then you'll have to fantasize most of your life that it doesn't exist because
yeah,
but when you really acknowledge that, yeah, I've got this side of me that's I'm not really that proud of and I don't know what to do with and it kind of scares me. But like you said, the authenticity has to trump the fantasy or the pretend. Like, and I think when it does that, when you're like, look, this is just me. I've got stuff I'm not very good at. I've got some pieces of me that I'm not very well developed in. That's the way it is. And then
yeah,
you pivot and you turn towards those weak spots and you just start working your butt off. I mean,
yeah,
that's where the change happens. It's not, oh yeah,
yeah,
it's great. Oh yeah, I'm a really strong person, but I kind of want to climb up to the skyscraper and jump. I mean, it's when
yeah,
you dance like that
yeah,
all over the place in your mind, and that's not authenticity. And we
right,
talked at the bridge a bit how your body is a lie detector. We can use that in forensic science. So imagine all of these untruths, that you're not dealing with. Your body's reacting physically, going, Darren, that's not true.
yeah,
Darren, that's not true.
yeah,
That's not accurate. You don't really think
yeah,
that way about, and
yeah. It's just a
yeah. Anyway,
cycle.
I'll let you talk, but I think your quest for authenticity, once it included the things that weren't necessarily good tasting, I think that's when you really took.
Yeah, no, 100%. And like, yeah, like literally, like I think it may have been the night before the bridge when I came, and I forgot to bring this up, but like literally, like it was either the weeks leading up to it, or the night. Everything's on loop, but I was literally like, sitting in my bed, like crying, like I don't even know who I am anymore. Like I'm almost like afraid of myself, which is like I'm sure a lot of people have been there. But now it's like, yeah, I'm just so like open. I feel so open. I'm open to however I feel for the day. If I wake up and I'm like, I feel depressed today. Okay. Like, let's do the day. Let's still go throughout the day, and that's okay. Like, it's okay to feel that way, and it's part of being a human. Um, can't be perfect all the time. Like, can't feel amazing all the time,
Right.
and
If
just
if you did,
yeah,
you'd lose your authenticity.
yeah,
You'd end up back in that pretend zone. Like I watched you. I mean, I try to pay close attention, but I watched you go from being pretty tight and kind of switching masks back and forth depending on the situation to just being you.
yeah,
And the you part was really spectacular. And I remember what were we like 10 days in and you came down and I'm like, hey, how you doing? And you're like, I'm doing really, really well. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
that's so good to hear,
yeah,
And from where you'd come from and how nervous and how much anxiety was in there and all of that, like dancing all over the place for you just to say, yeah, I'm doing really well. I'm like, well, tell me about it. Like, God, it's just amazing. Like, I had this appointment and a couple of days ago. I had this breakthrough, and like, man, I had this thought, and then somebody else shared that with me, and
yeah,
I'm just doing great. I'm so glad I'm here. And I was like, oh, that makes me so happy when your system starts to respond and you start to exude the authenticity. It's not perfect and I've got stuff to do. And yeah, I've got some challenges, but that's okay. All that's okay. I'm living and I'm having those feelings and I'm letting them go. And then I'm having some new feelings and letting them go. And you end up
yeah,
just starting to flow through that space.
yeah. It's really freeing. Like when which is like, I don't know. I thought it's just such like a perspective change, if that makes sense. I mean, it's just how I've always gone through life, I just kind of started obsessing over like feeling a certain way. And I didn't come, I knew I wasn't gonna try to come to the bridge to fix myself, but I think I found an awesome, such a good perspective. And like, and it's just seeing the other, like our group was so close, and just seeing the other guests just thrive by the end of it. And it's just so rewarding. Like, and I'm sure for y'all, it's so rewarding. And um, yeah, it's just an experience unlike anything. I mean, I mean, you've been doing it for, I mean, what, they're 25, how
Yeah,
long?
25 years. Can you believe that? Like,
Yeah.
and I always joke that, I say this a lot, but I see what you guys get. And even after going through my stuff and really developing a lot and still having plenty of work to do, I'm jealous that you get to wake up in the morning there and go, let's see, we're going to go out and see this amazing view and hike. We're going to do a little somatic movement, and then we're going to come back and we got this killer lecture, and then this beautiful lunch. And then right after that, I got my massage, and then I run over to personal training. Then I've got Cami and Shelby, at 4.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
just this
Yeah.
a time
Yeah.
really to
It's
be,
great.
it's a
Yeah.
time just to be totally selfish about you and your life. But um, so you came, you made that pivot. That was all your work. I mean, you deserve all the credit. We honor that. So you jump on an airplane, you have this experience, and you go home. Like what's that been like? That's tricky, right? Like it's not like the whole world's like, oh,
Yeah.
all adjusted for you. We're so glad you're here.
Yeah.
All changed so that it can be extremely easy. Like you go home and
Yeah.
realize nobody else has adjusted. So how has that been?
It's been good. It's been good. So I quit that job I had. I couldn't take off for. I quit that like 3 months ago, which I'm grateful for, because now I was able to go to the bridge. So gosh, like it's like I've given myself permission for the first time in a while. I mean, I'm not like I'm not. This isn't like a statement of like laziness, but like I always used to be so like rigid about like, and I've done all these things still, but I have like a different perspective of them, like meditating, cold shower, exercise, and I do them, but like I'm not trying to be perfect through them. Like yeah, I'm not trying to like, I know it's good for me, but I'm not like really just like, um, I used to like be like, oh, this will cure me or whatever, but now it's like I do have an enjoyment, and I give myself permission to kind of like relax and like actually like be present. Like I used to just be so in my head about like, if I get this certain job, then I'll feel better. If I like become like this, and this, like this will help. But now it's like, no, just like be in the moment, and like things are gonna come, like good things will come. Like and that I don't know, I just am feeling a lot more like I don't know, excited for life.
So
um
how has it gone from bad things might come to good things will come? Like those are really
yeah.
ways of living. And it seems like
Oh
before,
yeah.
man, bad things might come, bad things might come. And to this point where
Yeah.
no, I trust that good things are going to come. That shift, I mean, for anybody out there listening, and if you're one of those people like I've been, and like Harrison's been, if you've been one of those people that wake up going, oh man, what's going to happen? Or I don't want to do this anymore. This is really crappy. Or I'm super nervous about this. Or man, should I do this or should I do this? It's just this disturbance, this constant
Yeah.
disturbance. When you shift over to, I'm living my life, I trust that good things will come. That is a monumental shift. It really is almost a different personality. You almost can't have the same identity in that nervousness that you adopt into this place where you just believe that things will work out and that good things will come. So that's a process though, right, Harrison? So as you've kind of
Yeah.
worked through that, I mean, do you still get stumped sometimes? Is it still tricky sometimes? I
Oh
mean,
yeah. Like yeah. Like I'm still, I mean, I've kind of centered my job search around just things that, I mean, I love people. So something that involves people, like HR, sales. I was in sales initially, but got the Delta job, and then just been trying to figure out what I want to do, but just something with people I would like. But yesterday I've been doing, just in between jobs, I've been doing they have a lot of background acting in Atlanta. So I've been doing background acting, which is fun.
super
Um,
cool.
yeah, so I went yesterday and, was in some pain and um this intrusive thoughts started kicking in and I just started engaging with them and I just started engaging with them and it was just one of those days where it wasn't so good of a day. But I'm like got home and like, well, I'm still here. Like I made it through the day. So just kind of giving myself permission to like have a off day.
Yeah.
Um, Something I've noticed. And then just like literally like just being open to like, yeah, like I said, just like that mindset of like good things are gonna come, like being like however, just uh, I guess for anyone with anxiety, just like if if you have like I don't know if you have panic attacks or if you have like I don't know all there's all sorts of symptoms I know, but just kind of like if it happens, it happens. Like if you're anxious, you're anxious. Like whatever. Like it's like a let things flow. Like let however your internal state is be, and like just do it. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
no,
that's the kind of
no,
yeah
I think that's beautifully said because
yeah
when you're really just kind of flowing along, I mean, all lunches don't taste good, all days aren't wonderful, all
yeah
feelings aren't blissful. They're not. I mean, things are hard and you get triggered and you have people cut you off in traffic or tell you they don't love you or you lose a job or a business
yeah
or I mean,
yeah
there's trillions of things, but when you get resilient and you like you're moving into this space, which is just it's so fun to hear after all the time that we've talked before and after the bridge, it's so fun to just to hear that you're moving into this place where you've removed enough buttons where nobody can come up and go, "Ooh, I'm going to push this one and really light you
yeah
up." This, and then you're
yeah
really reacting. Then you're not going to sleep for 2 days, and then I'm going to do this one. You're like, no, I'm removing those buttons so other people and circumstances and things can just kind of come and go. And when they come into your system, you're like, oh, is that true or not true? Well, there's a little bit. Well, I'll deal with a little bit that's true. The rest of it, I don't care, And then something else comes
mhm,
up, it's totally false. And then something else,
right
even negative might come. You're like, ooh, dang, that's true. Oh, Darren, you got to work. You got to figure that out. Okay, all right. But it's never desperate or personal or anxiety provoking or depression provoking. It's just
it
it's
is yeah
like Tetris. Was the pieces fall? You just put them in the most efficient way that you can, and you just keep standing on it.
yeah yeah exactly
Tetris
yeah.
dates me. I know people don't probably they probably don't play Tetris anymore, do they? I don't know.
I think I mean probably on their phones I would think. But I think actually, like, a couple years ago, some kid got, like, a world record score or something like that. Yeah, like, it was, like, a 14-year-old or something.
Wow, yeah, it
Pretty
would
cool.
be a 14-year-old, right? Like,
Yeah.
of course. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
Um,
when I want to program my DVR, I have to ask my 10-year-old, and he gets three remotes out. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's just
yeah. 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 Exactly.
well." Any parting thoughts? I don't want to keep it too long, but anything to say to someone who's struggling, who's really dancing with these intrusive thoughts and some of this darkness or anxiety? What would you tell them? Like, what I mean,
Mm. Just, like, accept all of yourself. Like, love every part of yourself, no matter what. Like, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of what I've gotten. Like, every part of you have to love, and every part of you, you're not gonna you, I mean, you don't have to like love it, but like just acknowledge, like accept it, and um, yeah, like just I don't know. There's always a positive, like I don't know, have a positive mindset, and I mean, if it gets bad enough, go to the bridge.
Thanks.
But
Plug, yeah. But yeah, bridge or no bridge, I think just as humans, as we struggle
yeah,
and we fight, I love that. And when you say, I could hear your nervousness, like love all of yourself. Oh yeah, but maybe not. I think
yeah,
you gather it all up and you say, man, this mess it just happens to be me. And I work
yeah,
on pieces I'm not very well developed in,
right,
I'm not good at, and the other stuff I really enjoy, and that's just all I got. Like
yeah,
that's
yeah. It's very like liberating if you think of it like that, like
yeah.
super liberating. Um,
There's no pressure because you're just you and you're trying your best. And You know that by laying down, by climbing in bed, it doesn't fix anything. And you also know that if you go too crazy, if you try to overschedule and you have all of these things, that doesn't work either. You can overcook that.
Yeah. 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 And yeah, be easy on yourself too. Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, don't do what you can do.
Well,
Um,
well, I'll let you know. Go ahead.
no, and then I was just gonna say one other thing. The Untethered Soul was great. I read that. It's awesome. That was the last thing. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
great.
totally agree. If anybody out there wants a spectacular book to get started down this pathway, The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer, excellent. Some other books that we love at the Bridge, Brain Energy by Chris Palmer. Um, let's see. The Biology of Belief, Bruce Lipton. It Didn't Start With You, Wayland. There's great resources out there. But for me, and maybe for you too, Harrison, you can only do so much sometimes by yourself. You can only have so many mantras and watch so many YouTube videos and read so many books. But at some point, when it gets dark and when things get tricky, whether it's the bridge or not, if you need help, go get it, go find it. Treat it the same as you would if you fell off a building and broke your leg.
Yeah.
Don't try to sprint
Yeah.
it yourself. Go find some people that really know what they're doing and can lead you back to the best parts of you. So I would
Yeah,
encourage.
for sure. For sure. 100%.
Oh, you've been great. Thank you so much. It's so good to see you.
Thanks, Dr. Brooks.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. You too, as
Yes,
always.
any close touch, anything, let us know. And this is going to go out into the world, and hopefully,
Okay.
the right person will see this. And I'm so grateful for your contribution. Thanks so much.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks. Thanks so much.
Thanks, man. Have a great day out
All
there.
right. Talk to you later. Bye.